All right. So yeah, thank you for coming on the show. I'm really looking forward to interviewing you. I think it'll be a nice, inspiring interview. Yeah. So just to let you know how this is going to go, we have a full hour. So what I'll do is introduce you, and then I have your questions. I may venture off a little bit from your questions. I'd like the conversation to be, the interview to be more of a conversation.
Mhm.
So I'll probably venture off and ask some more questions as we're having our discussion. And then around the 26-minute mark, my producer will give us a countdown. He'll say 4, 3, 2, 1, and then 30 seconds. So around the 2-minute mark, we're going to wrap it up. And I'm going to thank you for being on the show. I'll give you the opportunity to give our listeners your contact information and how maybe they can purchase your book. And then from there, we'll go to break. When we come back, I'll reintroduce you and we'll do the same thing all over again. And then at the very end, you'll once again get another opportunity to give your information.
Okay.
Sound good?
Sounds wonderful.
Yeah. So our producer, Matt, should be on in just a couple minutes. He usually 53-minute mark. He usually should be here in just a few minutes. And then we go live, I think, right at the hour or a minute or two after. So it depends on when the commercials run.
Okay, that sounds good to me. I'm looking forward to speaking to you.
Yeah, should be a lot of fun.
Thank you.
Yeah, I just want it to be nice and relaxed, but inspiring and informational for our listeners. And we do have listeners from all around the world.
Oh,
so
can I ask you how many listeners you have?
That just kind of depends. Typically, it depends on who we have on the show, and how they promote it as well. So, per month, I'd say a little over 1,000 listeners per month. But we do have a lot of individuals from all over the world. We have following in China. We have following in, we have people in Ireland and Netherlands and sometimes Afghanistan and Pakistan and the United States. We tend to be a little bit more listened to on the West Coast than maybe on the East Coast. But we do have quite a variety, sometimes even Canadian listeners. So yeah, it's varied.
Can I ask you a favor? I'm going to call my husband for a sec. Could I do that before we record?
Yeah, absolutely.
I just remembered because I'm not going to be available just for him to talk to me.
Absolutely. And just press the mute button and make your call.
You can listen. I don't care. It's a crazy time in my family right now.
Oh, okay.
People are waiting to be picked up and whatever. And I just remembered some, since we're not recording yet, then this way,
it is recording as we're speaking. So if you want to just press the mute button, then you can have a private conversation with your husband.
Okay.
The Porsche. Goodbye.
That was not solved, but okay. Forget it. 50 years of marriage, things still don't get solved. Okay.
Well, I think it's human nature. We just can't always agree on things. There's, somebody was asking me something about, you've worked with people your whole life. How well do you understand them? I said, the more I learn, the more I understand that I know nothing.
Exactly.
So,
It's pretty scary out there.
there's
sure.
so many factors. There's so many things that influence our thoughts, our behaviors,
Yeah,
and
for sure.
even two people raised in the same household, based on their perception, their views are different. It's just
I have
amazing.
twins. They're very different than each other. They're the
Yeah.
opposite. Yeah. Fraternal.
Yeah. No, I find that fascinating. My family's filled with twins. My grandmother was a twin. My aunts are twins.
Oh,
And then one of my twin aunts had twins. And so we have a lot of twins in our family. And I find it fascinating because, two of the three sets are identical twins, and one is fraternal, and they're just incredibly different. And
interesting, aren't they?
it is fascinating to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. My cousins were actually in a study for twins, and it's amazing at how different they were. It's just, it's crazy.
Yeah, they continue to be. So you're right. It doesn't, no matter if you bring up children in the same household with the same backgrounds, they're going to be different genetically, how they process information, all that stuff is keeps changing as time goes on.
So many
It becomes
factors.
so many factors. It gets more complicated as time goes on. It's true.
Yeah, it really does. I find it fascinating. Mainly because I'm still trying to figure it out, just trying to figure people out.
Forever. That takes forever.
And I love working with people, but it's always every single person that I work with. It's a new experience. It's like, oh, never seen that before in my many years of experience working with people.
Looks different, is different, acts different.
Yeah.
All these, how many billion do we have on this earth now?
Almost 10.
10 billion.
Yeah, I was reading a study the other day, and we're almost at 10 billion. That's a lot of people, and yet we're all different. Isn't that fascinating?
And we're all different. We all look different. How that's done, it's
amazing to me.
Take a drawing and try to make different faces.
Yeah, it's totally
backgrounds.
Amazing. Amazing. It truly is amazing to me. So yeah, so when we get on, I don't know why it's taking him so long, but as soon as we get on, I'm going to introduce the topic. I'll introduce you. I'm going to read your bio, and then we'll just start having a conversation. I might ask you to, just kind of tell us a little bit about you at the beginning, and then we'll go from there. And I think you're on mute again. I think you hit the mute button. You want to unclick it.
Is that better?
Yes.
Now that you can hear me, it helps.
It does.
Especially
for radio.
Especially for radio, for sure.
I think Matt just joined us too.
Oh my God.
That's funny. I like it. Nothing like a good laugh before you get started.
It's good to laugh. It's very important to laugh.
Hi, Matt.
Hello, good morning. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well, thank you. I'd like you to meet Dr. Frieda Birnbaum. And Dr. Birnbaum, this is Matt, my wonderful producer.
Hi, Matt. How are you?
I'm great. Dr. Birnbaum, how are you doing today?
Good, thank you.
Good. All right. Well, let's go ahead and do some quick mic checks. Fozzie, go ahead and count back from 5 for me.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
All right, sounded good. And Dr. Birnbaum, go ahead.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
All right, sounding good. So we're good on the sound there. Dr. Birnbaum, you're just using the internal mic on your computer?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So sounds good. Just know that with that mic is just kind of always open mic. So if you kind of move or type or shuffle papers or talk with your hands and hit your desk, those types of noises will come through on the mic. So just kind of be conscious of that.
I shall. Thank you for telling me.
Yep, no worries. All right. And I did send the hello over on the chat. Did that come through, Fazia?
Yes, I got it. Yeah, thank you.
All right. Excellent. All right, cool. Everything's working. So we're good to go. We have about a minute and we'll get started.
All right. Thanks, Matt. Okay.
Is this going to be our visual? This,
visual is for
oh, there
us.
it is. Okay.
Yeah,
For
the visual
us.
is for us.
Are we going to be on visually at all?
Only on YouTube. After
On YouTube.
our,
Okay,
yeah.
fine. I consented to that already. That's fine.
Yeah. So the radio
Okay.
show is completely live, and it's only audio, and then we'll do the video for the YouTube only.
Okay, that's good. So did I tell you I have a podcast, The Dr. Frieda Show? It's THEDOCTOR, Frieda, FRIEDA show.
Okay, I will let you promote that as
Okay.
we start talking as well.
That's good.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to go ahead and send the feed your way. Have a great show.
Thanks, Matt.
Welcome to Focus on Success with Fozzie Acosti. Our program is designed to help you with executive function challenges. Our guest experts offer perspective, experience, and ideas to improve different aspects of your life. Now, here is your host, Fozzie Acosti.
Hi, welcome. Thank you for joining us today. Today, we are talking about a very interesting topic with Dr. Frieda Birnbaum. She is a research psychologist and psychotherapist in Saddle River, New Jersey. She's the award-winning author of Life Begins at 60, a new view of motherhood, marriage, and reinventing ourselves, and What Price Power, an in-depth study of the professional women in a relationship. She is an expert on topics such as family dynamics, parenthood, relationships, addiction, anxiety, and depression, and shares her expertise across the country as a seasoned media personality and commentator. Notably, Dr. Frieda is the oldest woman in America to give birth to twins. She is the mother of 5. Her youngest sons were born when she was 60, lending her a unique perspective on issues related to parenting and the empowerment of women at any age. So welcome to the show, Dr. Birnbaum.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, I'm really excited to talk to you. I know that you have a lot going on. You've got your podcast, you've got your books. Tell us a little bit about you and what's going on with your life right now.
Busy. I'm really, I mean, I had to interrupt you before because I remembered.
Yeah.
Because, it's the family, it's this. I'm having a play written about my history, which I'm excited about.
Absolutely.
And Holocaust survivors, my parents.
Wow.
And so about that. And also, what else am I doing? I'm doing I'm public speaking. I'm writing another book.
Tell us a little bit
I'm
about
here with you. That's what I'm doing.
Well, that I'm excited about. What is your podcast called? If somebody wanted to listen to you, where could they go?
It's called The Dr. DOCTOR, Frieda, FRIEDA show, SHOW.
Okay. And where can they listen? Is it anywhere we get our podcast?
I think anywhere, Spotify, all of them.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's wonderful. So make sure you check out the Dr. Frieda show if
Thank
you're
you.
interested in listening to something unique and different. So tell us a little bit about, why is it necessary for us to redefine age? So that's our topic today, redefining age to fit new social norms. Why is that important?
Because I have always been an advocate for women. And as a woman, I found that age played a significant factor on how you were seen and treated. And as you said, I had children when I was older. And I was on a show with Rod Stewart, I think his name is, yes. And he had a child at the age of 60, and no one even mentioned it. And then
Wow.
I had an opportunity to be on the Oprah show. But Donald, that was one of her last shows in May. He decided not to go on. Then he decided to go on. So I was kicked off that segment. And he gets on with a little baby on his lap that he had around my age also. But nobody said anything about that. So,
Wow.
and the only reason I was going on that show is because I had those twins. So, so I looked at this, and age and, women's revolution and now the Me Too movement for women is a factor. I think maybe that's our last frontier also about how women are being looked at today. So I really have never been an advocate about aging. It was always about women. But when I saw that, when they called me the old woman, I said, you know what? Thanks a lot. I didn't know that, but okay. So,
You
I
didn't know
figured-
you were old because you just
I
had
didn't know.
twins.
I was old till I was told I was old. So there I go. And I said, oh my God, this is how society looks at people my age, and it's old and I don't feel it. So I decided to rebel against it. And I ended up in Newsweek saying that ageism needs to be redefined. And just talking about what it means to be older and how exciting it was for me when I turned 60, and what I had to look forward to was something beyond anything that I expected, because what I expected was falling apart and not being so alert. None of that has happened. Of course, till I'm finished talking to you, then I'll fall apart and everything will go after that.
No,
But,
it won't. You'll be fine.
God's going to say, oh, I forgot about her. Wait a minute. So, and then, so that's why I said, we have to talk about redefining age, because we're not living older, we're living younger and having children maybe in our 50s, all the way up to our 50s now, as I'm speaking of when I would, 15 years ago, maybe was into our late 40s. Now it's continuing expanding. So the definition of age and productivity and activity doesn't seem to go hand in hand anymore, because
Right.
we're all sort of doing the same kind of thing.
Well, I've actually noticed the trend. When I was younger, I noticed on TV, you saw a lot of very young people. Well, as those actresses aged, they're still on TV. They're just playing different roles, but they're not sitting in a rocking chair playing, knitting, playing grandma. They're, doing younger version of themselves, or whatever they're doing. It's not the typical, 60-year-old or 50-year-old.
In the past, no, they're going on dates, they're living their lives, they're adventuresome, they're having careers. So it's a whole different persona of what an older person is today. I think the word old sort of takes you into a different place. But I think older means that you're just older than you were before. Old means that you're falling apart, and you're not falling apart. And these people you're talking about are more confident and comfortable with themselves. If anything, it seems to have gone in a different direction.
Well, I think diet and exercise plays a really big role. I mean, I think people have taken better care of themselves because they have the resources to do so. We have better food, better medical care, better diets. Everything just seems to fit into our lives so that we can take better care of ourselves. Therefore, we can have a life that's, full and complete longer. I see people in their 60s. I look at you, you don't look like you've passed 60.
Thank you. I love you for this. And
yeah, I mean, if I saw you on the street,
wow,
I would never have thought you were in your 60s, but
thank you.
I think
because I'm not, I'm in my 70s.
Well, okay. You look very good for your age. Very good.
See, the older I say I am, the better I look. That's the
I
trick.
think that's true. I think it makes you feel youthful. So you extend that feeling out to others. And
yeah,
if I saw you on the street, I would say you were in your probably early 40s.
Oh no, you wouldn't.
I would.
Oh my God.
You genuinely
with all with this and with this. I mean, I have all this stuff that I could really Botox, but I haven't done that.
No, you look fantastic.
Wow, you're so sweet.
I was quite stunned at how well you've taken care of yourself. And I think that goes to say that, as a society, we are all taking better care of ourselves. Women just look younger. They feel younger. They're more into better diets, better self-care.
I think one thing that's very important, and thank you, I appreciate it. What's really very important is the life that you live. That's what really represents you. I use my resources and my energy to have significance and to keep going. But that's really what keeps me alert and excited, and having all these possibilities. And I'm finding out that I can make those possibilities happen. So that's the drive in me. I mean, we have a lot of women who look fantastic as they get older, but it's really more than that superficial part of life. It's really more about how you present yourself with where you
Right.
are in your life that really makes a difference. I mean, you could sit upstairs or in your bedroom and have all this stuff done for you. And are you really living your life? And that's the
Right.
message really about women and getting older and where we need to go.
Absolutely. What does redefining age look like for you? Like when you decided to have your twins and you're thinking ahead, what did that look like for you? How did you redefine your age? Because most people don't have babies at 60.
Well, I'm still the oldest one, so obviously nobody does. So for sure. And this is 15 years later. So, first of all, I was ready at 60 to start a full-blown career in the media, believe it or not, although people in their 30s were doing that. And in no way was I thinking of having a child. So I'm not going to say it happened naturally. I don't want to blow your mind here, but that's why visually is good. I can see your response. You're not falling over yet.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, if anybody wants to see this after the fact, after the radio show, we will be posting the behind the scenes video on our YouTube channel, and you can definitely go
watch
check
your
that
reactions, your real reactions. But so what was I saying? So nobody asks this question and nobody thinks of it.
Mm-hmm.
And he's older than me, my husband. He's the one that wanted the children. And I said, no way, no way. I had frozen my eggs, so I was able to do it. And no way, because I am ready. I had 3 other children. I was ready to do something for myself finally. Got my degrees, did everything. This is my time that I was going to have fun with it. Please, we'll tell people you're 10 years younger. You'll have everything you want that you didn't have before. You'll have a life like you didn't have before. You'll have a nanny. You'll have this. I said, really? Wait a minute. So I said, I could tell people I'm younger. That part I do like. So, and then I went ahead and did it, and I was going to keep it quiet. And then the head doctor from the hospital said to me, tell everybody, because it'll help women to feel inspired to do other things in their lives, that their lives are maybe just beginning. So that's the direction I went into with this. I think
it's really inspiring, because not only did you have children at such an older age considered, by most people, but you're doing so many other things. And I think that's what's inspiring, is that you didn't let age define anything about you. If you wanted to do something, you just did it. You didn't say, I'm getting too old for this. I hear that a lot. And I even have clients that will say, well, I'm too old to do these things. No, you're not. You can do whatever you want. And I have a client who is in her 50s and another one who's in her 70s. And sometimes I hear them say things like, I'm getting too old for this. No, you can do whatever you want to do. You just have to set your mind to it and move forward.
I was going to do these things anyway, with the children or not.
Right.
I was moving forward in my career. I got my PhD at the age of 46.
Wow.
I got into Columbia, University for my master's in psychology at the age of 35. So I always did things a little different, a little bit later, a little bit unacceptable in a way too, because I had children. What about the kids? And so I did both. And then it was a factor that I felt I needed to do things. So with or without the kids, I always wanted to have a play about, and a book about my father's experiences during the Holocaust. And so I'm doing that. So it seems that the messages that you have, what you want to put out there, you can put out there. And I've been doing it all along. And when I got married, I decided I wanted to contain my individuality and be who I was at the same time. And so first I had a chore. I put my husband through law school. He was a teacher when I met him. And so that kept me. And then at the end, I said, wait a minute, he's a lawyer. What am I? I still don't have a degree. I did all this for him. Wait a minute.
Right.
You know, it was like through him, I was going to be something, because that's what I was taught. It's not who you are, but who you're going to marry. And that was the direction I was always pushed into. I found out that there was nothing there for me. So I decided to put myself through school and have my children. And then again, I had a boy, and then I had a girl. And then, see, as we speak, I'm getting texts from my kids too. So women still have that. I'm telling you, like, you know,
But I think
thought I was going to pick him up. Come on, I'm not picking him up. I told him, take the bus. Take the bus. I'm not going to be there. I'm here. Okay.
Well, I think that goes to show you what you have to juggle. When you have a
Ugh.
family, you have to juggle kids, you have to juggle work, you have to juggle your relationship. And it's really interesting at, you're doing everything that most women do, but you're doing it, you're doing more of it. And I think that's what's inspiring, is that you're doing it regardless of what your age is. You're doing it regardless
I'm
of
doing the whole deal. I mean, he didn't take the bus. He's waiting over there. Now, here's what's really interesting about this. This is, my husband is upstairs right now. He could pick them up. And before you, I just had a patient, right?
Mhm.
A phone session. And I'm running to make sure that I get to you on time. So I was a couple of minutes late.
It's okay.
Because when I have a phone session, they never hang up. They
No.
don't see anybody in the other room, and they're offended. God forbid I have to go now. So he's there. He's calm. He's collected. I said, "You're going to pick up my son here, our son."
So he's still
and-
trying to decide that.
And he's saying, "I'm busy." He's saying to me.
Well, I think what's interesting is that you're doing all the things that every other mother does, and yet you're doing it on a higher level, which tells me that it's a lot of it has to do with just your drive, your ambition, and your desire to just do these things because you want to do them for you. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I have a very strong desire. And I mean, this morning I took the kids, because it was like in the 20s this morning, and they're teenagers, so they refuse to wear jackets because it doesn't look as cool, because whatever that means, the jacket's a little too bulky. Their brains are a little too bulky, but whatever. So I took them this morning, and then I came back and I said, hey, it's so nice and fresh and crisp. I think I'm going to take a walk. I'm going to be adventuresome. So it was wonderful to take a walk so early in the morning. There's something to that. But women, I did a study on that, researched it. And women right now, you're right, have both roles. They're the homemakers, and they are the executives, and they're the professionals. And they fall into both categories, because women don't want to give up their feminine role either, which is being domesticated. They want that. I had children so I could be a mother and I could be a nurturer to them. So we don't want to give that part of ourselves up. So we have these double jobs where with my husband, he'll say, what's for dinner? And I'll be falling over and he won't even see that I aged 10 years since yesterday. He'll say, this is burnt or something like that. And I want to throw it at him. And I say, you make it.
You're right. I see women, they don't want to give up that motherly role. They still want to
Yeah.
be the primary caregiver for their children as much as possible while they have their career, while they
Yes.
have that full life that they want. And I think it's incredible that they can do that. I think some women, I see them having, some assistance, like maybe a housekeeper or somebody. And it's maybe more doable these days, because if you're the CEO of a company or if you're very successful, you can order dinner. You don't have to make it.
But there's a difference though.
You can still, yes, but you
Yeah.
can still fully take care of your children and your family, and still have your career and do something for yourself as well.
That's true. I mean, today, more than ever, women can do it the way they didn't do it before. Women have more opportunities like men do
Mhm.
because of the cooking and the cleaning. And I was going to write a book, How I Left My Husband But Kept the Housekeeper, because I always felt, was that a great title? Because I always felt the men get the best part of the relationship, They get to have the cook, the house cleaner, everything in one. So I said, well, I wouldn't mind having a wife to take care of my stuff like that. That's a good idea. So that never happened. But, we do have advancements now. You're right, that make things easier. The microwave, if I wasn't home, a funny story I'll share with you. Once my oldest son was, I don't know how old he was, but I was really in a state of frenzy, and I was driving home, and I said to him, just take some water. He must have been maybe 12. He was like, put it in the pot, put on the stove. Okay. Take the chicken. I said, this is great. Put it in the water. Don't let the water run over, and let it cook till I get home. I said, wow, I'm going to have a ready-made meal here. So I come home. So he took a little sliver of the chicken. He didn't understand. And in a big pot is boiled a little, like this big, a little sliver, because he didn't get it. So it's, kids are still kids. With all the appliances we have, they really don't have the ability to do any of this stuff. So you need some kind of supervision. And
Well, yeah, their brains
Yeah.
just aren't developed yet, and
they're
you
not
don't always
developed.
you don't always see how they perceive it. You don't always,
No.
like, where's your brain at?
Where's your brain at? And
Is
it's
it fully functional, or is it just
No.
partially functional?
maybe partially at its most. That's about as good as it can get, for sure. If you meet my boys, you'll see what I'm talking about. I mean, they're cute, they're adorable, they're good students, they're sociable, but still, I mean, he's
Well, their brains
texting
aren't
me.
developed. Yeah.
No, it's like an emergency state with this kid. I thought we were going out to lunch. What happened? Where are you? Is dad coming? Are you coming? No, I'm on a show. Oh, well, when will you be finished? I mean, duh, if I'm on a show. But I can't blame them totally, because our brains develop when we're 26. That's how long it takes us, really.
Well,
So
I've
we're
even read
26.
studies that have said it's later,
Wow.
especially for boys.
Especially today, it's getting later and
Mhm.
later. So for some reason, I don't know why. Yeah,
Yeah,
boys
no,
also.
I think it's really quite comical when I work with kids, because I do, as an executive function coach, I work with kids and adults.
Oh, interesting.
And so, I'm always trying to figure out, like, where are you right now as a teenager, as a younger child, as an adult, where's your brain function right now, so that I can do my job properly?
That's not easy,
No, it's not.
because everybody's in a different place, no matter what age they are also.
Exactly.
Oh,
I
that's such
feel
an
like I'm in a
interesting.
constant state of assessment.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah, it's really quite fun,
That
actually.
could be a
But
podcast in itself, talking
oh,
about what it is that you do.
absolutely.
I would have you on my podcast.
Oh, I'd love to be on your podcast.
Okay.
That would be a
You
blast.
can't say no in front of everybody here
I would
listening.
never
So,
say no to you.
okay, thank you. That's sweet of you. Yeah, I would be
My
interested to know
follow
what
through
you're
is
doing.
100%. If I say I'll be
Thank
there,
you.
I'll be there.
Because it's interesting, because I would
Yeah.
like to find out what it is that you do.
Yeah, it's fascinating. But yeah, let's we're gonna break in about 3-4 minutes here. What I would like to do is give people information on where they can get a copy of your book, Life Begins at 60, a new view of motherhood, marriage, and reinventing ourselves, as well as What Price Power, an in-depth study of the professional women in a relationship. Where
Well,
can
you-
somebody get a copy?
Thank you for asking. You could get both on Amazon.com, and I believe A Life Begins at 60 is still at Barnes and Noble. I think
Wonderful.
it was at one time. I'm not sure if it's still there.
Yeah, and so they could probably just either look up the title of the book or Dr. Frieda Birnbaum, PhD.
Yeah, they could do that.
There you go.
too. Mhm.
Wonderful. And then also your podcast. What was is the
It's called The Dr. Frieda Show, and it's about pushing the limits. And the one that said I was pushing the limits literally was Barbara Walters. And I think she was pushing, she said that because the kids and my lifestyle, so I'm pushing the limits in all directions. But it's really about people. I asked the three main areas about their history, their success, their future plans. I've always been fascinated how people got where they've gotten, what
Yes.
motivated them, their backgrounds. Some come from a lot of tragedy and dysfunction to get where they've gotten. But what I found is that that's what really helped them. And you use the word drive, that really helped them to get to that place.
Oh, absolutely. I tell my clients all the time, I said, don't dismiss any of your experiences. Every experience you've ever had, they're cumulative, and that is your base for what you're going to be doing later. That helps you understand whatever you're going to be doing later. It gives you that, better understanding of your clients, or that better understanding of
Yes.
whomever you're going to be working with. So it's truly, don't discount anything that you experience. They're all
Yeah.
learning experiences.
Everything you've gone through, you can help someone else go through the similar patterns, and you can identify with it.
Absolutely.
So you have more of a depth. You're not just some kind of scientific, educator here.
Right. You can
but
really
yeah.
relate to what
You
they're
can really
experiencing.
relate. Yeah, it's very important.
Yeah. No, I really appreciate you coming on the show. We're going to take a quick break here in a couple minutes, and then we'll come back and talk to Dr. Frieda Birnbaum, the author of Life Begins at 60, A New View of Motherhood, Marriage, and Reinventing Ourselves, and what Price Power, an in-depth study of the professional woman in a relationship. And if you're looking to get a hold of me, you can go to my website, executivefunctioncoachaz.com. You can subscribe to our magazine. Our next issue comes out January 10th. And if you're interested in being a guest on our show or a writer for the magazine, you can email me directly at fazia@executivefunctioncoachaz.com. And we would really like for you to go to our website and subscribe to the magazine. We've got some wonderful articles coming up. And if you're looking to get in touch with me about coaching, we've got some wonderful Black Friday specials coming up and Cyber Monday specials coming. And we have the new Mind Print assessment as well. We've got some great offers there. So we would love to speak to you more about those specials. So give us a call at 480-648-1122. And we'll be back talking to Dr. Frieda Birnbaum after these messages.
It was good.
Okay, great job. We're all clear. Back in a couple minutes.
Thanks, Matt. Yeah, so thank you. So so I actually would love to come on your podcast.
It'd be fun to hear how you help people. Different. It's a different way.
Well, it is a different way, and I've had a very unique life as well. So,
oh, good.
The
more unique, the better. Go ahead, I'm listening.
Oh yeah, no, I actually was born in Afghanistan. At the U.S. Embassy. My dad worked for the United Nations, UNICEF, Department of Defense. So he was always working for other organizations, and so we traveled a lot, moved a lot. So, and I've worked for the United Nations. I've worked for several universities, and
you've been around, and you look very young too to have been around so much.
Good genetics. I turned 55 yesterday.
You did not.
I did too.
Oh, get away from me! You really hit the jackpot. You look like you're 30.
I did. I turned 55 yesterday.
So what is keeping you so young?
I try not to worry about stuff. Stress will kill you faster than anything.
It will.
Yeah.
Stress.
I meditate every day. I used to do yoga a lot, and then I gained a little bit of weight, so yoga wasn't so much fun anymore. But but I
See, you're
still
older.
meditate.
See, it's interesting. You told me you're 50. What? I can't even
5.
say the words. 55. Oh my God. But now that you told me you're 55, you seem more interesting to me.
Thank you.
Because you look young, you look like you're 30, and you've had all these experiences and knowledge as well.
Mhm.
So you have much more to offer. Isn't it interesting? That's
Yeah.
how I perceive you.
I have a daughter who's finishing up medical school,
Oh, good
and
for you.
she was the youngest in her medical school when she got accepted,
How old?
and she's 24. So she graduates in May, right after she turns 25 in April. And then I have a younger one who's graduating ASU. She's studying journalism. So both my girls had full scholarships, really
It's wonderful.
focused. Yeah, I'm very proud of both of them. So,
Well, they come from a mother who is smart and ambitious. So, what they say, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree, and it's true. And I'm honored to have my 22-year-old, which I had at 53, by the way, just a few years younger than you. And he was recruited recently, and he has one more year to go in school, college, to a top position for a top company. And he's already making a few $350,000 a year.
wow,
And he's just starting out.
that's amazing. Oh, I think we're going
amazing.
back live.
Yep. Sorry to jump in. We're about to come back. And happy
Okay.
belated birthday.
Oh, thank you, Matt. Just when you think no one's listening.
We're sending, were we recorded just before?
You're listening to
Yes.
I don't care.
Focus on
Oh, I didn't know
Success.
that. Okay,
reach
I was
Fozzie,
bragging.
I can
or
delete
the
it.
guest
I can
on the
delete
You
it.
can keep it
delete
on. I
if
don't
we
care. I
want.
didn't know.
Okay.
I have nothing to hide. It's fine.
346-9141. That's 1-888-346-9141. You may also send an email to Fozia at executivefunctioncoachaz.com. Now, back to Focus on Success.
Hi, welcome back. Today we are talking to Dr. Frieda Birnbaum. She is a research psychologist and psychotherapist in Saddle River, New Jersey. And she is the author of Life Begins at 60, a new view of motherhood, marriage, and reinventing ourselves, and What Price Power, an in-depth study of the professional woman in a relationship. So welcome back, Dr. Birnbaum.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to talk to you.
Yeah, I'm thrilled to have you on the show today. I think your
you.
story is very inspiring, and I think it's very interesting. So let's talk a little bit about the benefits of redefining age. What are the biggest benefits of that?
The biggest benefits of that is to, first of all, don't be afraid to tell your age. When I had my children older, I wanted to start a group with the women that were having children around the same age, and they refused to do it because they didn't want anyone to know their age. So how can we define age if we don't know the truth about what age is today,
Right.
especially with women? And
well, I think that society has always made it one of those things where, you're more successful if you do things when you're younger. And, I don't think that's necessarily true. I think we have different goals at different ages.
different goals at different ages. I mean, I had to take care of my kids, and I had to take care of my education, and I had to take care of my parents. And so you can do it all, but you can't do it all at one time. As long as you forget that word. Okay.
Compartmentalize.
Yes. How come I can't say it? All right, forget
I don't
that.
know.
So whatever it was, thank you very much.
Of course.
Then you can get it all in. It's a matter of what your priorities are, and it's a matter of what you can do, but you don't have to leave anybody behind. So age is something that's too bad that we even have to talk about, because when you talk to the person, and then when you say this is where they're supposed to be, you're not giving that person a fair chance of being where they really are. You're saying this is where they should be, as opposed to where they really are. And that's why, after having these children, I realized that we still have this type of anxiety associated with age. You know, this is a study showed that 47.2% of the people are unhappiest at the age of, guess,
20.
47.
Oh,
47.
why is that? Maybe because they go back and reflect on their lives and think they haven't accomplished what they thought they should have.
That's a very good answer. That's a very good answer. And at 47, you know, usually when we're in our 40s, we often hit our peak in our mid 40s with the careers. And sometimes when we do that, we're sort of disillusioned. So you're right to a sense that with our mid to mid 50s, we're hitting our stride with our careers. But we hit our strides with our happiness when we're older. And people who are in their 60s are actually happier than people who are in their 50s, although people in their 50s, when they hit the peak of their careers. I know, don't look at me like that. I know it's puzzling, whatever. It's a good thing I'm sure of myself, because I'll say, maybe I'm wrong, but okay.
Well, I was just trying to think from my own perspective. Like,
yeah.
I was thinking back, 47, which was, close to a decade ago for me. Was I really not happy? And I wasn't as happy as I am now.
Well, wait till you get 60. I'm not kidding. Call me when you get to be 60.
I will.
And then we'll have a show on that.
I'm one of those people where I've never been afraid to tell my age. I've never been afraid to do things at different ages, because I think you just do things when you're ready to do them. You can't compare yourself to somebody else because you're not living their life. You're not having their experiences.
No, you can't. Psychology teaches you to be developmentally in tune with where your patient is supposed to be. But I'm a psychoanalyst, which means that I deal with individual, I'm so happy to say, and where that person wants to be, which means that it varies so much across the board, even having kids when they're ready, having a relationship. I was just interviewed by somebody, and she's in her early 50s, has a boyfriend, has never been married, doesn't have children. And you know what? She's not ready to get married yet. This is not her time yet, she says to me. So this is her perspective. That somebody else could be panicking at 40 and saying, what happened?
I've seen people panic in their mid 20s. Like, why am I not married? Why, what's wrong with me? Why am I not married right now? I cannot answer that question.
My mother used to go around crying to the world. I was 22, why I wasn't married yet. I got married soon after that to make her happy, to tell you the truth. I mean, I've been married all this time, but that was one of my motivating, factors, because she was so miserable. That's true. So yes, it's all very relative to your own perspective of what you need to have accomplished at a certain time. But, I don't know if we have time, but somebody wrote this article. I'm going to read it quickly. How much time do we have? 5 minutes?
No, we have 20.
Oh, okay. So
we have plenty of time.
In your 20s, you mostly practice. So that doesn't count. I can't read my writing. Trying out social, romantic friendships. Okay. 30s, I'm talking about today now. 30s is when you figure out who you're going to be. Okay, that's fine. That's fair. 40s, you don't pick up speed till you're in your 40s, figuring out what you want. And you're starting to have your peak career changes. Your 50s is when you gain real momentum, okay? And 60s is when you make your most significant difference in the world. And 70s, it's waiting for you. And 70s is when you're reinventing yourself. And then the 80s, you can't possibly be old. I need that cup of coffee.
Oh, this is water.
Just water. Okay.
Sorry.
That's so exciting. You can't possibly be old till you're well into your 80s. And that's iffy. That I like, because it gives you a perspective of what's ahead. Because what's ahead seems to be, oh my God, so ancient and what, 20 years from now? Are you kidding me? This is the prime. Every decade of my life, I thought I was at my prime. Well, I better get it in. I'm
Right.
at my prime now. And then wait a minute, I'm at my prime again.
What I like about your perspective is that you're not looking ahead to retire. You're looking to see what's next. Where I think a lot of people, when they're not happy with life or when they're not happy with their career, their focus is I can't wait until I retire and then go have some fun. What I like about your perspective is you're just enjoying the ride no matter where you're at. And you're having
have
fun
to.
with it. Yeah.
First of all, retire, it sounds horrible. It sounds depressing.
I
To
agree.
me, I don't want to be on that bus with those people who feel like they're elderly and fragile.
Well, I
You know?
joke that I feel I live my retired life now. I'm doing exactly what I want to do. I help people with my work. I'm on the radio. I talk to really interesting people. I live a couple miles from 4 different beaches. I go to the
Oh,
beach
wow.
whenever I want.
Where do you live?
I live in Virginia, Hampton.
Oh, Virginia. Okay.
Yeah. And I live the life I want to live right now. I work the hours I want to work, the days I want to work. I don't know what would be different in retirement, doing nothing.
It's so interesting you said that, because my oldest son said to me, when I retire, I want to paint, do artwork and live in a house where there's a lake in the back and sit out there and just do that. So I said to him, why can't you do that now? Why do you have to wait
Right.
all these years? And it never dawned on him to do something he really enjoys now.
Absolutely.
And so that's something I always say, reinventing yourself instead of retiring. You can have a second career and do all these things we're talking about. But you brought up a very important point too. What about not only waiting to reinvent yourself, but what about not waiting and reinventing yourself?
Right.
Having that thing now. And I do think that the pandemic sort of brought that in. People are Zooming more.
Yes.
They're not going to studios. They're not going to work. They're sort of half and half their jobs. People don't want to go back to work. They don't want to go back.
No.
Yeah, it's changed.
Yeah, I think
we're
the
both
way we
joking.
looked,
Go ahead.
yeah, I think the way we looked at work before was just such a different view as it is now. I think we have a much I think we're more respectful of our time now. I think once people started working from home, they realized how much more they could do with their time, spend more time with family, spend more time with their own interests. And once, companies started asking them to come back to work, they realized, I don't want to give this up.
I'm not doing it. I'm not going to do it, because you see, you're giving your life to work. You're supposed to, what is it? Work to live, not live to work.
Yeah.
So you're giving it up. Yeah.
So I don't know. For me, I've just never lived a life where I wanted to compromise anything. And I can give credit to my dad for that. He didn't live his life with a compromise either. He just did what he wanted to do, and things always worked out.
What did he do?
He was a negotiator. He worked for the he worked for the Department of Defense. He worked for the Army. He was a teacher. So he did a lot of really interesting things.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, it's just you have to live your life as if today's your last day. What would you do on your last day? Every day I wake up.
I'd be talking to you.
Yeah. If I don't look forward to something, I kind of think, okay, this is something that doesn't need to be my life anymore. If it's not interesting, if it's not
That's
fun,
true.
if it's not benefiting me and my future goals, I don't let it into my life.
You're very smart, because we realize after this pandemic how precious our time is.
Right.
And that we can have these kind of choices. So whatever it is that we do when we get up in the morning, at the end of the day, I always say to myself, all right, did I do enough today? Did I get everything in?
Right.
And, I've tried not doing, and I became like blah. So I have to, I have to get up. I think even getting out of your sweats, and putting on some clothes, and that motivates you to start thinking a different way. But, when we're talking about who we are and what we're doing and where we're going, it's a different time now. And people don't want to get on the bus, go to work. That's how long does that take? A half an hour, an hour? Pay for the clothing to get to work, to appear a certain way.
Right.
Pay for your lunches out.
Mm-hmm.
What if you're the boss? And then you have to go back again. And that time that you're taking commuting, look, if I have 4 or 5 patients would take me a whole day. If I were to get on that bus, get over there, walk over there, have lunch, talk to people, come back again, be 8 o'clock at night.
Right.
So really, this is a much better way. You could exercise in the middle of the day. You could. It's
Oh,
just a wonderful way.
absolutely. It's a much
Yeah.
higher quality of life. I mean,
Yes, it is.
I don't use an alarm clock. I get up in the morning when I wake up. I go to the
Mhm.
beach, or I go to my backyard and I do some
Wow.
gardening. And then when I'm ready, I eat whenever I feel like it. I make a meal. I cook all my meals because I enjoy cooking. And then when I'm ready, I go sit down and I work in my office for a couple, 2-3 hours, maybe see a couple, clients, go do something else, come back, see, a few more clients. And I just kind of schedule my day so that I'm not working, 6 straight hours, and that I have a little bit of balance. I talk to my neighbors. I may go to the grocery store, maybe go shopping in the middle of the day, and that sounds like retirement to me. I'm living my life exactly the way I want to live it. So
It's
maybe-
it's you're living your life. You're living your life with a passion. That's a difference.
yeah. And I think if people just readjusted how they view things, they could be much happier. And I think that's how I see you doing things. And that's why your life is so inspiring, is you see what you want, you do it. You don't think, gee, am I too old for this? No, you see what you want to do, and
Age
you
is
do
just,
it.
you put age over there,
Mhm.
because age has nothing to do with what you have to offer, really.
Exactly. But yet it is something most people think defines what they can and cannot do in life.
I have long hair still. I'm wearing right now, you can't see this, but I'm wearing stretch pants over here. You can't see it. My sneakers under this jacket, whatever.
But I
And-
think it's important to just do what you want to do in life.
First of all, it's important to know what it is you want to do. Because
Yeah.
a lot of people spend a lifetime after having been told no, and then they go back to before they were told no, to finally do it. So that's also important for parents to sort of let their kids go ahead and take control over where they
Mhm.
want to go. That's very important. But do I
No,
do
s-
what?
yeah.
Yeah.
I was going to say, I see a lot of people that don't have a defined line between taking care of their kids and taking care of themselves. It's very blurred. And I see you have a very defined line there. It's like you take care of your kids, but you also take care of you. You also take care of your husband. You also take care of your patients. And you have, like you said before, a compartmentalized life, but you are able to do it all because of that.
If you don't have self-respect, you don't get respected. Women who give everything are stepped on a lot, and people think they don't know any better. And then these women are emotionally pained. Women
Yeah.
who take care of themselves, you'd say, they're selfish and self-centered. They don't deserve that recognition. The sad thing is that they do get that recognition. So you have to be able to know your value, and to know that as a role model, you're going to give more than as somebody who's just giving. Because I used to say to my mother, go have a life. Have a life so I can have a life. Get away from me, because I was her whole life. Just keep away.
Well, I think it goes back to modeling behavior. If you
Yeah.
want your children to behave a certain way, you have to model that behavior.
Yeah, but she was uncomfortable
Right.
with that behavior. She didn't know what that meant. So I had to fight her. And then, you marry your parents. So I married somebody. He's over there. I'm going over there. Who also, was very familiar to me. Why? He was controlling like my mother. So I said, I belong with him. So we do that. We marry our dysfunction from the past, but he's changed. I've worked on him, and he has a lot of wonderful qualities. But a lot of that, of who you become, is because you get insight to realize that you can make a bigger difference for yourself than you can make for anybody else.
Absolutely.
Try putting that energy into someone else and see how little effect you'll have in comparison. So that's really something that I value a lot. I mean, I don't know if you can see my office, but the desk is different, the chairs are different. I like to be different. So everything is sort of different here. And it's not about being judged. Who cares about being judged? Actually, the more I did for myself, the less friends I had. But that was really a reward for me, because I knew that I had to do more even and
Well,
have
they
less
weren't-
friends.
Yeah, they weren't really your friends if they
No,
left.
they were
Yeah,
uncomfortable. Yes, so
exactly.
that's something that you have to, that's part of it. I would just say to people, I'm keeping busy. What are
Yeah.
you doing? Keeping busy. How many patients do you have? I don't divulge that. That's private. It's interesting as a woman, as a man, my husband, no one asked him, what school did he go to? He's an attorney. How many clients does he have? Oh, I could do the same thing. But women, as a psychologist, oh, I could have done that. I should have done that. Where did you go? I could do that. That kind of feedback. It's a whole different mindset.
Mm-hmm.
And yet we're more educated.
Right.
We have higher career status than ever. And our relationships are affected. And I wrote about that, what price power,
Right.
more than ever because of that. So things have changed. Go ahead.
Yeah. Have women especially benefited from the shift of, redefining age?
They've benefited. I have where's my book? I don't know where my book is, but whatever. There's a book about how things have changed, but have they benefited from redefining age? We have no choice, because we have to be looked at for who we are. When somebody knows my age, or if I tell them on the phone, they're constantly calling me about Medicare, ear aids. Are you getting that yet? For your ear,
my
whatever.
hearing's fine.
My hair, what else? Anything else? It's just, I don't know what to say to them anymore.
Well, actually, I have a funny story about hearing. I in my 30s, I thought I was losing my hearing.
Mhm.
And because every time I tip my head, I'd hear this swishing sound. And so I went into the doctor's office and I said, I'm really struggling. I know I'm young for this, but I think I'm having hearing problems. And she's like, do you mind if I take a look? She looks in my ear. She goes, do you hear a swishing sound when you tip your head? I'm like, yes. She says, you need a decongestant. You'll be fine. So I took a decongestant. Within 2 days, I hear this popping sound, and all of a sudden I can hear again. I'm like, oh, I don't have a hearing problem. I have an allergy problem.
That's funny that we get these diagnoses that seem so, we tell ourselves these things that are so out of whack with where we really are. But yeah, we have the ability to always stay on a path, and things like that, come and go.
Oh, yeah.
As long as you keep yourself back on track. A lot of people get sidetracked when something happens. It becomes who they are, and they, go into that pattern, and that's when it becomes dangerous not to stay on that path.
I agree with you. We've got a couple minutes before we end the show, and I just want to make sure that everyone who would like to get in touch with you has your contact information. Just want to share your books again. If you'd like to get Dr. Frieda Birnbaum's books, Life Begins at 60, A New View of Motherhood, Marriage, and Reinventing Ourselves, and What Price Power, an in-depth study of the professional woman in a relationship, you can go to Barnes & Noble or Amazon and just look up Dr. Frieda Birnbaum, Birnbaum. And your podcast, if you don't mind sharing that again.
Thank you very much. It's the Dr. Frieda Show. It's called Pushing the Limits. Dr. Frieda, DOCTOR, FRIEDA show.
Wonderful. And then is there any other way that they can contact you that you'd like to
share? If they really want to contact me, my email is Dr. Frieda, DRFRIEDA @gmail.com.
Perfect.
If they want to talk to me about anything.
Thank you so much for being on the show today. And if you'd like to get in touch with me, you can go once again to my website, executivefunctioncoachaz.com. You can subscribe to our magazine, Executive Function Magazine there. You can also contact me about being a guest on the show, as well as a guest writer on in our magazine. And if you're interested in any of our Black Friday specials, coaching specials, our mind print assessments, you can either go to our website and contact me directly through there, or you can email me at fazia@executivefunctioncoachaz.com. And if you're in the United States, you can call me at 480-648-1122. And I just want to quickly give a shout out to everyone who listens to us. Without you, this would not be possible. So thank you for everyone in China, the Netherlands, the US, anywhere you are in the world that you've listened to us. We appreciate you. And we will see you next time.
Thank you.
My pleasure.
Very nice. I enjoyed it thoroughly. It was fun. And I will remember to have you on. Are we still recording? Oh, okay.
Just for one more second, and then I think we're done.
All right. Sorry about that. You are all clear.
Oh, that's okay. Thank you, Matt.
Yep. I'll trim that last little part there at the end there. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you,
What
Matt.
is,
All right. You're welcome. Have a great rest of your day. And a
Yeah,
great
you too.
Thanksgiving.
thank you, Matt.
Yeah, you too, Matt. Happy Thanksgiving.
Thanks.
Bye.
Now, what is the phone number?